Hi, welcome to Abby's Book Reviews. This is my July TBR. I am going to basically be talking about my books for July and August in this, but I will do another one for August with whatever is left and if I decide to add anything to August. So, I will explain first up why I have stuff for both months. Basically, over on TBR and Beyond, we're doing a board game for the 2 months. It's called Summer Lovin Book Camp. And it's a board game which I have printed out and I coloured in, and basically you roll and then whatever your space you land on, you read a book related to that. So you've got like blue, beach read, diverse, cover lust. Free space means you can read any book you want, and it goes on. There's a couple of like go back to spaces, move ahead one space. A lot of people are going to be doing this. Some people have pre-rolled like myself, and other people have just rolled their first book starting today, so they can start today, and then they are just going to roll when they finish that book and see where they go next. So because I've pre-rolled means I can fill out my book logs for the game, and each one of these sheets, I have 3 sheets. I decided to roll 3 boards so I wouldn't run out of books, which is a bit insane, but yeah, each page is a board basically. So my first one, I'll go through it with the books, but yeah, basically I planned my life or attempted to. So a lot of these are arcs because I decided this was a perfect chance to catch up on all my NetGalley arcs. So hopefully completing 2 of these boards should get me down to, I think, 5 arcs left, something like that, 5 or 6, which will be pretty good going. So I'm super excited for that. And then other books in this are our group reads over on TBR and Beyond. So I've got 3 of those on here, and quite a few of them are also from authors that are going to be at YALC at the end of the month, which I am super excited for. I will show you for the arcs the covers on my phone, and I will try to find the blurb for them somewhere online so I can kind of explain what each one is. Shearwater by D.S. Murphy. So Shearwater is set on an island. It sounds fantasy-esque. Basically, like, her life starts to unravel. She finds out what might have caused her mum to leave, is being chased by immortals, wizards, and ends up in a supernatural war. Ends up meeting really handsome guys as well. So it sounds pretty cool, and I am a bit excited to read it. So this was for Blue. Cover Lust was my next challenge, and I adore the cover of The Queens of Innislea by Tessa Gratton, so I decided this would be my one. This I also got as the arc of NetGalley as well, so I thought it was time I read it, and apart from it is absolutely giant, so it's going to take me a while to get through. Hopefully I can bash this one out though. This is about a wizard cleaves an island from the mainland because the king destroyed her temple. 2 bright hearts are born on the island on the same day, and a queen sits in a pool of stars. So I think it sounds really cool. I looked at this last year before it came out, and they were listing stuff for it coming out this year, and I thought it sounded awesome. Girl at Sea by Lucy Courtney. This is for travel, and it's Precious and Harry on their road trip to the end of the world and back. Precious is spending an August in a villa while her parents fight over a divorce. She visits the plane home and ends up on the run along the coast of Portugal and meets Harry, which sounds pretty cool. It's a road trip. I thought it'd be pretty awesome to just have something, I suppose, a bit light. I don't know if it will be, but it sounds pretty awesome. Love Songs and Other Lies by Jessica Pennington. So this is one of our group reads for the month. It fits First Love, I think. So that's what I've picked it for. So she had a rock song worthy heartbreak, and she's looking forward to having a fun, carefree summer. Ends up doing her dream internship, and yeah, and ends up with I think it sounds really fun, and yeah, I think Jessica is coming and doing a live chat over on TBR and Beyond, and we'll be doing a discussion on it as well. Gunslinger Girl by Lindsay Elli. So this I picked for TBR group read. It is one of our group reads, and it's a sci-fi slash western from what I remember reading about this. But I just love the cover. Like, the cover is amazing. Even the back is pretty awesome. She has perfect aim and a pair of 6-shooters, which is what she got from her mum. But so she has West, he's a boy. Sounds pretty interesting. She ends up like trying to go to the city. Wrecker by Joel O'Reilly. So this is historical fiction. It's an adult fiction book as well. It's looking at the dark side of Cornwall, which I thought would be so interesting. It's about shipwrecks and about how the villagers used to go out and, you know, get the booty off shipwreck. Like, the main character ends up going and finding this guy washed up on the beach and rescues him and nurses him back to life. And it's all the stuff that goes with that. So I thought it would be really interesting to read, especially with my family being from Cornwall. Bright Ruin by Vic James. This is the third and final book in the Dark Gifts trilogy. Oh my gosh, I love this trilogy so much. One of the main characters is named Matthew as well, which, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't really want to say too much apart from it's dystopian Britain, where if you aren't one of the rich that has magic, then you have to spend 10 years as a slave and do your slave days. This is book 3, where hopefully the uprising will continue. I forgot to say Wrecker I'm using for tearjerker because I think it will be really sad. And Bright Ruin I am using for strong woman because there are some pretty strong ass women in this series, and I am hoping that they will still be in this one. They should be. The Book Nights by J.G. McKinney. This I used for funny. I'm using for funny purely because I think the blurb sounds pretty hilarious. I don't actually know if the book will be. I just think the whole premise is pretty funny to me anyway. So I'll just read you the whole blurb. Knights wield words as weapons, librarians are wizards, and books can change the future. When her parents are condemned to death by Morgan Fay for the crime of reading, Artie Penderhagen becomes a fugitive. Hunted by Mordred, the sadistic police captain who recites poetry to enhance his physical strength, Artie escapes to the Isle of Avalon, a sanctuary for outlaws. There she meets an old librarian named Mel who tells her about the Grail Tome, an ancient book in Morgan Fay's possession that can alter the course of history. Can Artie steal the book in time to save her family? I just think it sounds pretty hilarious in the fact that it is a gender-bent King Arthur. It's about books. I just think it just sounds so funny to me. Then I'm going to read The Infinity War, which is a graphic novel. So I read one of Matt's graphic novels before the film came out. I think it was Civil War. But I got this one out to read before Infinity War came out, and I didn't actually read it. So perfect chance because my next challenge is graphic novel, so I thought I would use it to read The Infinity War, even though I have already seen it, but I will then be able to tell the differences. The Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. So this is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, but it's told from the point of view of the Sea Witch, or Ursula, when she was 12 years old. I don't know if she is Ursula in this. My challenge is retelling, so this is perfect, and I cannot wait to actually get my hands on the hard copy as well. Our third group read for the month is Sky in the Deep by Adrian Young. I am also using this for all the feels because I think it's going to tug at my heartstrings. Oh, I like this. So this says part Wonder Woman, part Vikings, and all heart. So it's female Vikings. Absolutely love it. I saw about this like last year. Got it in Owlcrate in May. Cannot wait to dive into this one. Taking a break from the challenge, I want to read The Dragon with a Chocolate Heart because it is the first in a series. I didn't realise this, but I want to read this before I read The Girl with the Dragonheart. So this I've got as an ARC on NetGalley. The other one I do have as a hard copy coming, just the delivery's been screwed up. So, but yeah. So between the two of them, it's about a city famed for chocolate, and it is protected by dragons. I think the first one's more about the city and the dragon, and about how the girl gets involved with the dragon, but then this one's like a follow-on. I cannot wait to read these two. They sound so fun. Dragons and chocolate, like, oh my gosh. These two I am using for the challenge dragon. And that is the end of my first board. I'm going to try and do these a bit quicker. So start with the second board is Coverlast, which I love the cover of Grace and Fury. I just got this in Fairy Loot. It's by Tracy Banhart. I also got this as an ARC off NetGalley as well, because it doesn't actually come out till the end of July. So excited for this. It's about two sisters. So in a world where women have no rights, there's two sisters have different fates, one in the palace, one in an island prison where women must fight to survive. And basically they've been trained for what they are going to be, and does that actually happen or not? The Girl Who Thought Her Mother Was a Mermaid by Tanya Unsworth. Stella sleepwalks. She's terrified of water but obsessed with the ocean. Her mum died when she was young, and basically no one can tell her the answers, so she ends up running away to find out the truth. And yeah, I am super excited for this one. It sounds so good. And this was for travel, because they're running away. A Bond of Destiny and Dragons by Karen Tomlinson. This is a prequel to a series that is already out, which is The Goddess and the Guardians. I haven't read it, but because it's a prequel, I'm hoping that I can read this. Kind of like a standalone, and then go into the series if I enjoy it. The Game of War is changing. Dragons, who are the guardians of the gods, have basically eradicated themselves. A powerful goddess of creation is vulnerable, and a single female warrior is planning a betrayal which will transform the course of history. I think it sounds pretty interesting. And this is for Fae, because I've heard there are Fae in this book. I'm pretty sure it's later in the blurb. The Pageant by Lee Walker. So this is the first in the Vampire Royals series. Young women are handpicked to enter the pageant, which is basically Miss Universe from the old days. So this is kind of set in the future, from what I'm guessing. So the main character's mum wants her to compete. She doesn't want to, and the winner gets proposed to by the prince. Interesting. The royal family, I think, are vampires, from what I can read. So this is for fantasy. Then I have this coming, which is Mad by Chloe Esposito, which I'm using this for Mean Girls because she sounds pretty mean. And then I'm using the second one, Bad by Chloe Esposito, again as new release because it comes out at the end of July. So this is book 1 and 2 in the Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know trilogy. So it's to do with, I think the first one, basically she steals loads of money and the boyfriend from her twin sister. And in the second one, her twin sister's found dead. The police want her for questioning, but the boyfriend has disappeared with the money they stole from the dead sister. So what, sounds pretty insane, but sounds really good for summer. Then Smoke in the Sun by Rennie Adahay. This is the second in the Flame in the Mist duology. I'm pretty sure it's just 2. So this one I'm picking for strong women because I love Mariko. It's set in kind of a fantasy Japan, and I don't want to talk too much about it because Flame in the Mist is amazing and people haven't gone read it. So go read Flame in the Mist and then come read Smoke in the Sun and then come talk to me about it. Runebinder by Alex R. Kayla. There's magic, there's human monsters called Howls, there's war. So it sounds like a dystopian fantasy. It sounds really interesting, and yeah, I'm using this for magic. Then The Secret Key, which is in the Agatha Audley series. I'm not sure if this is the first one. So this one I'm using for mystery. It's a middle grade mystery. Agatha Audley is a bold, determined heroine and decides she wants to be a detective and she's just waiting for her first big case. So she ends up teaming up with her best friend to solve the mystery. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This I picked for hyped book. I'm not sure if it really fits. A lot of people were raving about this on Bookstagram earlier in the year, so I'm saying it fits hyped book because I think it does. So this is a book about sirens. I am super excited for this. I loved The Daughter of the Pirate King duology, which was my first encounter with sirens in books, and I am super stoked for this one, and it's perfect time for reading it in the summer. A Promise Stitched in Time by Colin Rowan Kukinski. I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry. So this is about a girl who has made a promise to her dad, who has died. She wants to win a scholarship to an art program, but her grief gets in the way when she's trying to find her artistic vision. She purchases an old coat as inspiration, but she thinks the coat is haunted by its previous owner, which is a Holocaust victim. So this is definitely going to have all the feels. I feel like I'm going to cry so much. It's going to tug on my heartstrings, everything. So yeah, I picked this for all the feels. The Outcast, which is book 4 in the Summoner series, but it's actually the prequel to the Summoner trilogy. So yeah, this is by Taran Mathero, and I've used this as free space so I could pick any book I wanted. Set before The Novice, so it's a great introduction to the series, which I haven't read, so I thought I would read this first and then go read the trilogy. It's got demons in it, it's summoners. This sounds so cool. Sorry, I'm just reading the blurb. This sounds so cool. So he's like the first common summoner. Basically only nobility are allowed to do that, so they've got to try and like keep him under wraps because apparently there's a rebellion on the horizon. This sounds so interesting. I apologise if this is super long. I'm going to try and cut it down, but this might be super long. So this is my third sheet, my third board. I have all of these books. They're all hard copies, so I should be able to go through these a bit quicker, hopefully. Days of Blood and Starlight by Lani Taylor. This is the second in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I picked this as blue. I know, why did I pick this as blue? Purely because of the font, and it didn't fit otherwise in order with the other two if I put it in a different space. Some of the others I could have moved, but I wouldn't have been able to fit this one in the board anywhere else before the other two books to do with this series. The Summer of Us by Cecilia Vinnes. This is brand new, it's only just come out. I saw this mostly because Owen Hamilton went to the book launch and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. So I've picked this for beach read because I do think this is something that would be seen at the beach this summer. It's about best friends going on a European tour, spending their last summer together before uni, and then it's not just the two of them, so what happens next? The Fandom by Anna Day. I'm pretty sure Anna Day is a debut author. I can't find that she's written anything else, so that's what I'm going with. So yeah, she is my debut author for this. The main characters have massive love and part of the fandom for the Gallows Dance. They go to Comic-Con and then somehow they are in the show for real. Oh my gosh, it sounds so cool. And with Comic-Con season, I have to read it. A Jigsaw of Fire and Stars by Yaba Bateau. So this, I think, is pretty much about slavery, from what I can tell. But the main girl finds out that she might be a princess, maybe. She was washed ashore with loads of treasure, but she's the only survivor from a ship carrying migrants and refugees. So I don't think it's slavery, actually, looking at that. So yeah, she's then a member of the circus and she has to try and work out what her backstory is because the undead are calling on her to avenge them. And look at that cover as well, like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I've picked this as royals because from what I've read, she's a princess. The Electrical Venus by Julie Mayhew. So this I've picked as First Love. I'm pretty sure there's first love in there. So she's kind of in love with one character and then this other guy comes along and then she thinks she's in love with him. It's Georgian England. It sounds so cool. It's a travelling sideshow. And then obviously electricity comes along. You have to pay a penny to kiss her and get an electrifying kiss. My friend Nicola was reading this when we went to go see Victoria Aveyard, and she was really enjoying it at the time. So super excited. Night of Cake and Puppets by Lani Taylor. This is book 2.5 in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. And this is apparently illustrated as well. So I'm super excited for this one. I don't really know too much about it because obviously I don't want to know spoilers. So I've used this one for fantasy. This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada. This I've picked as my friend rec, so friend recommendation, because Elli from Fanatical.Fantasy over on BookTube and on Bookstagram read this and she loved it and recommended it. So I thought I would try it. It's pretty sciencey from what I remember, but I'm also super excited for it because it is kind of dystopian from what I can tell. Skin Full of Shadows by Frances Harding. This I've picked as paranormal because it has ghosts in. I think I talked about this pretty recently. Basically, spirits go looking for somewhere to hide and some people have space within them, so the spirit lurks within them. So it sounds pretty creepy but pretty cool at the same time. Dreams of Gods and Monsters. This is Free Space for me. It's by Lani Taylor. This is the third in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, so it means I get to read a series. Super excited for this. Undercover Princess by Connie Glynn. This is part of the Rosewood Chronicles. I've picked this as funny because I think it actually will be. Like on the back it says, all I've ever wanted is to not be a princess. And then I end up getting roomed with a girl who's obsessed with them. So I think that it sounds pretty funny. There's one girl who longs to be a princess. She's then, and goes to the school on scholarship. She is then put in a room with a princess who longs to be ordinary. And she's avoiding her royal duties. And basically they swap identities, which I think would be pretty funny and pretty awesome to read. Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. So this I've picked up for school. It's an epic breakup. She ends up eavesdropping on it by accident. She gets into hot water with one of them and then they're thrown together in a class production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So definitely school related. I think it sounds pretty awesome as well. I got this from Outcrate as well earlier in the year. 7 Days of You by Cecilia Vaness. This I picked for purple. So this was her first book, I want to say. Came out a year or two ago. This one is set in Tokyo. It's 7 days before Sophia moves back to the States. So she has 7 days to say goodbye, and then Jamie Foster Collins moves back to Japan and ruins everything. And they have a history of heartbreak. So what happens there? I apologise if this is super long. That is it that I want to read for July and August. That is 30 books. Don't know if I'll do it. It's 15 books a month. It is doable, but it's also, if I have a month like last month, it is definitely not doable. So fingers crossed. I have a readathon starting tomorrow. It's called TBR Rat-a-thon, I think. So basically it's TBR, you put it in a jar, then you pick out what you're going to read, basically from a jar. So it's like TBR jar, basically, and then you pick out what you're going to read and try to read as much as you can in a week. So I am super excited for that. And yeah, basically my first sheet, my first board, I've put into the jar, see how much that I can read in a week. And I thought that would give me a good head start on this. I might see if I can join another readathon in August to try and catch up with some more. Enjoy the book you're reading, and I will speak to you soon.